lumberjack, actor, all these things that you did. At what point in your life did you realize that like taking a risk, because that's really what it is, right? You're taking this risk, even though you believe in yourself. Have you always had that thought process? Because like I myself, I always knew that I could do it, but it took a while for me to gain that confidence to know that no matter what I do, I'm going to do the best I can. It wasn't, maybe 6 or 7 years ago when I realized that the risk was definitely worth the reward. How long have you had that thought process in your mindset?
Yeah, I love that. That's a great question too. I think this is just how I was born. I couldn't be different if I wanted to, and I think that goes back to being genuine, right?
Hmm.
Um, I grew up not knowing that I couldn't do something. So I failed many times in my life. I'll continue to fail, but the real failure is not trying,
Right.
right? No one's ever going to say, "Ah, gee, I did that and I failed." Really what's going to happen, someone's not going to try, and later in life they're going to be, gee, I wish I had tried. I'd rather know that I failed and tried, and quite frankly, I'm just going to keep trying until I do succeed.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a mindset. And I guess we're just all different people, but maybe it's just some certain level of confidence. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. But again, I grew up this way, just thinking I could do things. And I've just always been that person that tries. Even moving to California, it's kind of a sort of a risk, right? I moved
Yeah.
down there to actor. Quite frankly, wouldn't say it worked out. But hey, I met my wife there, had two lovely children. So it's a win all day long,
Yeah.
right?
Where do you think that you got that from? I mean, was it something that your parents encouraged you to just be trying and not being willing to fail? Did you play sports? Did you have any activities that like you were just, hey, I'm going to do this because because for me it was sports. That was something that was like, no matter what, baseball is one of my favorite sports. I wasn't very good at it, but I would go up there and I would fail and I'd enjoy it and I'd be all right with it because I knew that it was going to make me get back up there and do it again every single at bat. Where did that come from for you?
Yeah, I think all of the above. So I did play a lot of sports. I was terrible at almost everything I played, but I loved it. And
Yep.
I loved the team atmosphere of, helping one another out. But I really think it probably goes deeper. And I think it's a lot to do with my parents. Although my parents were divorced when I was young, some might say, oh, gee, divorce, that must have been difficult. I never knew any difference. And again, it goes back to being that ultimate optimist.